Greetings, Blue Team. This is Jim. We're going to be doing a training video for log analysis, different tools we can use to do log analysis. A lot of students have requested some type of training video for logs. One of the issues I can see as a coach or a mentor is students need to see, or competitors need to see, what's actually going on inside the network. They need to see who's attacking them and then what to do about it. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a three-part series video. First part is comparing log files, how to find the log file, and using a tool called diff and the switches that are associated with diff. It's pretty cool. I think you guys will like it. It provides a lot of power at your fingertips. Then the second part we're going to do is just a comparison using diff, just comparing two files we're going to create with a nano or a VI text editor. And then we're going to talk about the hardening sheet for the Ubuntu or the Debian. One of the other things we want to look at moving forward is we also want to be able to figure out how to block the malicious IP addresses, kind of in response, or as an example, is responding to the log analysis. So for those of you who are actually working on the Debian or the Fedora or Ubuntu, very similar. When we're looking at the log file, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be comparing the log file. But in order to do this, we're going to have to copy the log file to another directory. We're going to have to create a few directories. They show you how to do that in the handout that I think you have. If not, I'm going to go ahead and post a link to that in this site when I post it online. Also, the switches for the diff, it has different switches like R for recursive. It has TAC-Q for like a 10,000-foot view or an overview, instead of having to look at like a granular analysis like the recursive. So what we'll need to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll rename that log file to like security log. What this will help us to do is if we're just trying to do a simple comparison between this log directory and this log directory, they have to have different names. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing right now. And we're going to take and just start off with a recursive analysis. So if we went to do a recursive analysis, here's what it would look like. So as we do the recursive, as you can see on the screen, we have a TAC-Q, and we'll come back to the TAC-Q. So we'll bring it up here, and we're going to look at the recursive first. And I think you'll see with the TAC-Q, I started with that one, so you can see you really don't have as much content up there as what you maybe would expect. We're going to do the recursive, which is going to show us all the changes that have occurred. Some of the stuff, obviously, you don't really need to be too worried about. Right now, I'm working in a clean system that I just actually created, just installed it, NESXi. But if you look, you'll see greater than, less than symbols. They actually mean different things. And we'll get into that in another video as far as analysis. I'll also post some other links to some other videos I think would be really good as far as understanding the files as they change, or the contents as they've evolved. So what we're doing is we're looking at the recursive. Now we can go ahead and look at the TAC-Q, which is the 10,000-foot view. As you notice the recursive, there's a tremendous amount of content in there. So let's come back and let's look at the TAC-Q. And as we're looking at the TAC-Q, you see all of the content in there. We can actually add, and this is one thing I wanted to point out, we got the R, we can actually add our switches together as well. So TAC-RQ. And then if you notice right here, maybe you want to clear that directory out first before we do that, or clear that screen rather. If you notice, if you come over here to the right, it shows differ. So out of all the stuff that was in that directory, let's look at that seclog. You've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. But if you look here, it's only showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly 22 files in there, approximately. 25, 26, 27, excuse me. But we're only got, less than a quarter of that that's actually changing. So if we were to go back, obviously user log, that content file is going to change. Cat, let's go user log, user.log. If you notice, obviously this is going to change. You see January 2nd, this is the time we're doing a video. I've had this machine up running for a couple of hours. 1053, 1053. The log's got a lot of content in it, right? Once it's done, we'll do a CLR. Go back and grab that file again. If you look at it, it's showing everything that's changed inside that file. So you got the content for the user as that content is being changed. Obviously this log file will represent that and it will be reflective. However, is it something you need to be super concerned about? Well, if you look, you want to see the content where people have logged in. Right here, you may not be as concerned if it doesn't change. An example of that would be if you look at something else in here. I have another server I'm building right now with a web file server. So as, say, somebody's trying to gain access to a web server that's running SQL, we could actually look at the web file folders. And I'll add a little video clip of that here, probably along with these as well. So I hope this has helped. I will also add the links, the Q for the R for recursive. We talked about the Q as well, which we indicated was like a 10,000 foot view. I think they call it a brief. Report only when files differ. So if you use the Q, you're only going to see the content that has changed. If you do recursive, obviously it's going to give you everything, right? So you want to kind of, use them sparingly. If you want to look at things that have changed with a recursive, it's up to you. Whatever switches you use, whatever works the most for you, or works the best for you, rather. So that greater than, less than, it'll show the files that are from the first file, and then the other one will be the greater than or less than files that are from the second file. So when it's doing a comparison, one will be greater than, the source and the destination it's looking at will be the less than. You can also do an equals as well. So once again, like I said, I'll go ahead and I'll post that link for all of the different switches when you're using a diff command. And our next video is going to be on just comparing two files together using the diff command instead of comparing whole directories, which might seem a little bit overwhelming. And we also want to get to the point where we start looking at the content in the directories. The problem you have here is there's so much content that you're looking at. How do I identify what's actually important? Well, we're going to try and answer that question for you. This is Jim. I'll see you in the next video.